do 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 Hey everyone, welcome to Fun Bunker Film School. I am Zach, here helping our teacher Chris. I'm back, Chris.
You're back in school.
I am back. I abandoned you for many a month, and somehow you still let me keep my job, which is great in this economy. Yeah, we're back watching movies, talking about stuff. Isn't that
First
great?
time in a long time.
First time in a long time. And we're joined by two excellent students. Just great to have them around. Kolb and Luke. How you doing, fellas?
Doing very well. Just watched my first anime.
Good. I didn't make the reference. But neither one of the three dads made the reference. That's great. Kolb, how the heck are ya?
I'm doing fine. Just getting over a cold.
I was about to say, you text messaged me and said you were sick. So I was going to ask and make sure first of all, are you wearing a mask on this Zoom call here? And then
Don't want to spread it.
Yep. And then second of all, glad to see you in class, even though you were sick, because yikes.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Major sinus infection.
Yeah.
I had to stay home from work one day.
Oh, heavens to Betsy.
I know.
No more gravel trucks for you.
You didn't have any allergic reaction to like peach fuzz or anything like that?
Nobody was sprinkling behind you.
I get that. No, maybe. How am I supposed to know? Someone could have poisoned me with that fuzz.
Touche. Or ketchup on your napkins.
Excuse me, Professor.
It was hot sauce.
Yeah, I believe it was hot sauce. Not to correct, the expert, but.
I'm far from any expert, but that's good. That's neither here nor there. Chris.
Yes?
Can I
know why there was a pause. Yes.
You were wondering if there was any other Chris's. Can I just compliment you, because tonight this is a doozy of a film, and this is a good selection. Mm-hmm. So my hat is off to you, good sir.
Yeah, covering 2019's Parasite by Bong Joon Ho.
Now I have a question
to talk about with it. Yeah,
question. Obviously, I've seen this movie prior, and I'm going to ask in a minute who is watching this for the first time, which is obviously not you. It's obviously not me. So I'm really just wanting to know if Kolb or Luke has watching it for the podcast. But why did you pick this particular movie? Now I love it. So I'm like, personally, subjectively, obviously it's fantastic choice to watch. But why did you pick this one? And I believe it's for our foreign category, right?
Yes, I needed a foreign language category, which is something that
this is our foreign languages credit.
Yeah, this is our study abroad credits. Parasite, I think, is a pretty monumental film for a few reasons. I think there's a long history of great foreign cinema and foreign films, but Parasite was maybe it is the first foreign language film to like win Best Picture at the Oscars. There's been movies that have been produced, I think, by other countries, but are like English language films, like a British film or something like that.
Like Mary Poppins.
Right. Yeah. But it's the first foreign film to ever win Best Picture. And it marked a turn like in the Academy and in film culture kind of at large, that like film culture had gotten to a point where it was getting younger and more international. And you've seen that since you can kind of look at like Academy Award nominees for Best Picture, like pre-Parasite and then post-Parasite. And pre-Parasite, you might have one foreign film in there like every few years. And increasingly like since then, since like at the 2020 through 2021, 2022, like there might be one more film, there might be two films, there might be even like three. You're getting more films where we're getting this broader sense of what's out there. More stuff is kind of coming over, and it's easier to see. And like even when we're talking about this movie, it used to be that if a foreign movie did really well at something like Cannes or the Cannes Film Festival, or it did well amongst like artsy circles, an American studio might buy the rights to it to remake it in English and remake an English version. That kind of thing would happen, and it might have like some moderate success. And at one point, this movie actually was optioned by, I believe, Adam McKay to be made into either like an HBO series or a movie that was going to be in English. And it was, when that announcement came out, everybody was kind of like, why? This movie is already kind of perfect.
Yeah. Why would you iterate on to make it worse?
I like Adam McKay. I don't think I would trust him to do anything but make this a worse version.
No, yeah, absolutely.
And that's what I like McKay. I like a lot of the stuff.
Yeah. Now this is a dumb question, which means it's coming from me and is for me. But when you talk about the foreign category, just for those of us that are not on the cutting edge of what cinema is that strictly just because Hollywood sits in the United States, and so we egocentrically have labeled everything outside the United States as foreign? Is that what that
foreign language? I guess it should be. Yeah.
So it's just not English.
International.
Basically.
Yeah. Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, because that can get tricky. Like, I'm trying to think of an example. Like,
so is Pan's Labyrinth a foreign film?
Because that one's in Spanish, isn't it? I'm trying to remember, or is it in English? Yeah, I think it's in
Spanish. I
believe I'd have to look it up. But I believe, that was a foreign production, and so like the Oscars have had for a while. They've had, your movie, if it was good enough, would get in Best Picture, but there was always Best International Feature, and Best International Feature was a thing where each country can submit one film, which can kind of get weird when, like, if there's two good South Korean movies or there's two good Swedish movies or something, they have to pick one to submit to see if it gets nominated or not. But then you will have stuff like Triangle of Sadness from 2022 was a Swedish production, but it's a movie that's in English.
Interesting.
Yeah, that
or
can
like
get
Troll 2. Maybe.
Yes, like something like that. Yeah.
Breaking news. Pan's Labyrinth was nominated for Best Original Screenplay, Best Cinematography, multiple other ones, but also as a Best Foreign Language Film. And the recipient there was on behalf of Mexico.
Yes, that would make sense.
Did they win any of those?
They won Best Art Direction, Best Cinematography, Best Makeup, and Best Movie About a Labyrinth.
Best Labyrinth film. And
that movie, not to talk about other movies, but I mean, that movie has best scene where a guy gets killed by the end of a bottle, like just a bottle smashing his face in.
Best scene with eyes in hands, eyeballs and hands. Yeah,
that's a front runner. Yeah,
best movie featuring Princess Moana, not made by Disney.
There you go.
Touche. Yes. So thank you.
Yeah,
we won't go too far into other films, but that category is an interesting category because when I think most people think of film, they're not dichotomizing it across the world. They're just thinking of, I'm watching a movie. And so for me, given that I do watch movies or shows or animated shows in other languages, I'm not necessarily zoning in on like, oh, this is a foreign film in just a category like that. It's more of like, this is just from Japan or this is from Korea.
Yeah.
But not that there's all these rules circulating around of like even how they could win or compete.
Oh, sure.
So to speak. You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying. And I think that it kind of stems from that subtitles, I think for many Americans are like a stopping gap.
Right.
Like,
I'm not going to watch this.
It's like a barrier to entry, which is
I didn't
wild.
pay to read a book. I paid to watch a movie.
Right. And now because of the way stuff is mixed for, something, a movie has to get mixed for audio for like streaming and for somebody watching on their AirPods versus somebody also, watching on the 7.1 Dolby Atmos surround sound system. Subtitles are more popular than ever, even for English shows. It's, like that running joke of like, I can't watch my movie without my subtitles, and or I can't hear without my subtitles. Is like a very real thing. So I think kind of it's easier than ever to get stuff with subtitles too. So it's just becoming easier. And like I said, like the tolerance level for that kind of thing. And I think anime is honestly like a big proponent of that. Like it just helps get the acceptance around.
You're welcome. Well, no, and so in Studio Ghibli Fest, which AMC does every year, they'll just re-release in theaters like every single year now, Studio Ghibli movies, and there's always a consistent dubbed and subbed option. And the subbed option is not. I usually go to the subbed option unless we go with the kids, and we go with dubbed. But I'll go to the subbed option, and the subbed is usually pretty filled out. By people, like they usually want to see it in the original. They want to go see Howl's Moving Castle or Spirited Away. Now The Boy and the Heron will get in that rotation, but they will go for the sub because they want to see it in the original production. So it's good.
Right. Cool, that's where the real ones are. That's where the shooters go. Yeah. So okay, Parasite. It is awesome. It really is. Like, so that's the other reason why I wanted to cover this movie, is that I think it is borderline perfect. Like,
it's so
I don't
good.
know
Chef's kiss.
I don't know what to critique it on. And there is stuff that I'm sure you could, but it is such a detailed and like finely laid out movie. Like, it is every shot is intentional. Every prop feels intentional and serves some sort of thematic purpose. And it's like I've said a lot about a lot of my like favorite movies, is that it works as a just a really well done kind of, I don't even know what you call it, like a con movie and a thriller, or it has like kind of like a social horror element to it. But it the more you kind of start to dig and pull back layers, the richer it gets.
So one quick question before we keep going. Kolb and Luke, had you seen this movie before you were assigned the task of watching it for this moment? They're just staring at each other's faces.
I'm pretty sure the role of the student is that we could not have seen this movie before we are invited on.
I don't actually know why you're asking that question, Zach.
Yeah, I just couldn't remember.
So obviously we have not seen this movie.
This teacher clearly.
My goal. I am not the teacher. My goal is to ask dumb questions to make you look smart. So I'm succeeding.
The clarifying questions.
Clarifying questions. You have not seen this. You haven't cheated. You didn't do your homework ahead of time.
I assumed you were a teacher who was tenured and we're just phoning it in.
I still haven't watched this movie. This is a script someone else handed me. So it's good. You're fresh eyeballs. Because I watched this movie a long time ago. Chris told me to watch it. And I watched it. My wife was out of town for some reason. It's one of those movies that got slotted in like immediately. Like, oh, what is one of those movies that I know she's not going to enjoy? And so I'm gonna watch because she's going away for whatever. And I remember my first time watching this, I was so gripped. Like, it was one of those movies where it just grabs on and it doesn't let go. And you just kind of like wake up at the end like, oh, it's over. Like, whoa. That was crazy. That was a wild ride. So I was stunned when I watched this movie for the first time because it just kept twisting and turning on me.
Yeah, it's extremely compelling.
It is. And I love that the tone, like Chris was saying, there's so many layers and the tone shifts as you go through. I feel like at the beginning you've got this, you're drawn in and you've got this like, oh, this is a very quirky interesting family, and they're doing some weird stuff, and but it's almost comedic what's going on, like, oh, poor family getting creative about stuff, but they have this weird dynamics with their neighbors and their landlords and themselves. And then as it goes, it's like it does, the pacing and the tone just steeply goes faster and faster and faster and faster.
Yeah,
It's good.
that's something I really appreciated about it, because I didn't know anything about this movie other than it had won Best Picture. Chris and Zach have been on my case to watch it for quite some time, and all I had ever seen was the clip of the ghost looking
Oh,
up
really?
from the top of the stairs, which immediately put this to the
Yeah.
bottom of my to watch list. Um,
Yeah.
and so it was interesting because early on in the film I was very much struggling to see, when does this turn into a thriller, when does this
Mm.
start becoming intense, why is this, I see it's listed as like a black comedy thriller, where is that? But there were a couple moments where there was some camera angle changes. I left my notebook downstairs why I had written a note. There's one spot in the film where there is I don't know if it's a dolly, but the camera suddenly panes around a character to view another one different angle. And it's done in a way where it very much felt like something out of a horror movie.
Was that in the
As a,
kitchen?
it might have been in the kitchen, and
It's in the kitchen.
immediately it just this sense of like foreshadowing and a little bit of dread right off the
Mm,
bat, where it was kind of a little bit of a breadcrumb of, oh, something,
yeah.
this can't end well, this can't end well. um
Yeah. I think
and so I
dread is a great word for this movie. You get dread as you go through. You're just like,
Well, yeah,
something is off.
yeah, something feels off, and those shots of the like basement door, where like the stairway to the basement is just this like black void,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
no matter like what part of the day it's in, it's just like this dark corridor.
Mhm.
It would
Um,
just
Mhm.
swallow up whoever's going down.
yes, yes.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
yeah
It's good. It's good. 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 I love it. Well, Chris, did you have any directorially any questions that what you specifically wanted to
Yeah.
ask to our students
Um,
here?
I would say, okay, I guess, yeah. What did you think about the kind of the two families and the differences between the two families, and what you think Bong Joon Ho thinks of the two families in the movie? The kind of rich family. I kind of was thinking earlier we to refer to the characters, because they not going to remember all of the characters' names. They
Right.
are in Korean, so kind of just refer to them as like poor dad and rich dad, rich
So you're
mom.
you're talking about the main, because we're spoiler heavy, obviously.
Yes, yes. I mean,
So
so I
the
think,
main two families.
yeah, I would talk about the main two families, the two families that are primarily featured, but we can also talk about the third family as well,
Yeah.
which is an
The
important piece of the puzzle.
surprise family.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah, yeah. So the contrast that is getting painted between this family scraping by and the family that is just like, they are loaded more money than they know what to do with. They just, any problem they have, they can pay to fix it immediately. It's not an issue. Um those are the two families you're talking about, right?
Yes.
Yep. Well, Cole, Luke, any thoughts?
yeah right away I think it's interesting. I think you see in the movie there is a lot of build up around how these folks' perception of themselves are, right? So you see Mr. Poor Dad um, early
It's a
on
great name.
is very passive. I noticed he was quick to celebrate like successes of other people, um, but he's kind of like, seems like he's dragging his feet. Like there's the ongoing bit where I don't know if they're drunk or something else, but there's a guy who comes and is just peeing right outside
Hmm.
of
Mhm.
their kitchen window. And I love even that early imagery that they're just kind of down there
Mhm.
looking up,
Yes.
um, while this person goes and pees, and then coming over his the son's rich friend, who's part of Family 4, I guess, who's there briefly, comes and puts a stop to it. Um, and the dad never does this, right? Even later on in the movie, the son is the one who goes out there and does something. And I think that plays into the ending of it too. I think because I was very thrown off by the ending, but I won't rush ahead to that. But I love just the dynamics um, of these two families where I I actually don't know if I agree with the character's view of the rich mom as being like, dumb and
Like
naive
aloof.
and
Yeah.
aloof. Yeah, I think it is much more just trusting, um, and maybe more less less world weary, if that
Yeah,
makes
a little
sense.
naive, maybe.
Yeah.
Little
There's some
little
naivete.
little bit of simplistic viewing of people and their roles and how they, like just assumptions of how they
Yeah.
think. Like she's not dumb. It's just this is how I would think, and so I'm assuming everybody else thinks this way.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yep.
also I appreciated too um the poor poor family kids, just the way they were able to quickly um jump in and fit in and work through um, embedding themselves into this family. How quickly they had done this. There's a lot of hints, I feel like, early on that there's a lot of talent there, right? The daughter
Mm-hmm.
especially, see her making these fake business cards, doing this graphic design, going in there and just like kind of BSing off the top of her head to completely pull the wool over the eyes of this woman who we see in other references and things she makes in conversation is clearly a very educated individual, right? Near the end of the movie, when she's describing like, oh, I need you to set up, oh, here's how you should set up these tables, set it up like this, like the crane in this battle from 1570 whatever, and she's like describing it, and it's like this is someone who clearly is not an idiot. Like this is
Yep.
someone who's not dumb. um and the poor family's daughter is able to go in there and keep up with her, pull the wool over her eyes, get in there. So I think it says something about these two kids are, in a lot of ways, yes, they are a product of where they're at, but I think it's clearly shown that like, oh, if when they're given an opportunity, they're making the most of it, and they're kind of dragging their parents along with
Mm.
them. But I've yapped for a bit, so I'll yield the floor for a bit to Mr. Kolb.
What do
Yeah.
you think? What do you think, Colb?
Oh, well, to go off of that, I guess it's the difference between book smart, street smart,
Yeah,
Shelley.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't know
because,
about that.
well, no, not at all. Okay. I guess
He's just neither smart.
neither one. Yeah.
Yeah, neither one.
Is there a third option?
A third secret smart living in the basement.
Yeah, because like even that first lesson between the poor son, rich daughter,
Mhm.
she's like going over her answers very methodically, and he says, "No, don't even go back. I want you to just
Mhm,
conquer this test in the way I'm kind of conquering this family right now by,
mhm,
like it doesn't matter if you know the answer or not. I want you to just power through to really win." And that's
mhm,
kind of what he's doing. And she's more like on the book smart thing. I want to get these answers right. I want to do things right. That kind of stuff. That's so.
Mhm.
I kind of agree with you, Shelley. One
yeah,
thing I was surprised about, I didn't see a lot of like major evil in either family. I thought there
yeah,
would be
Mm.
like a switcheroo, like, oh, we're supposed to kind of dislike this poor family, and now we're gonna really hate the rich family at the end. That wasn't the case for me.
mhm,
Um, and I didn't really hate the poor family either. They were, they got some people fired. They're kind of conning these rich people, but I didn't sense any like evil malice, like, oh, we're gonna kill them and take over their life. Uh, so that was surprising to me. I thought that was the way it was going to go at the beginning, but it wasn't right like that, at least for the first half. And I really enjoyed the first half. It was kind of fun
Oh
watching
yeah.
watching the rich family get swindled out of
It's a
their
very
money. But
common trope. Like
Yeah.
how do we take advantage of the rich family?
So
Yeah.
that was the biggest surprise for me.
And I think the interesting so it's a really good point that Cole brings up. It's a very gray movie. You're not given like here's the black and white sides. This is who you're supposed to vote for, root for, cheer for. Like that, you might feel drawn to certain characters based on your life circumstances, and so someone may say, well, like Cope said, they didn't kill anybody. They did get some people fired. That's not great, but they're not hurting the rich family. They're just, they're paying them for a job that they're kind of doing. Like in this, yeah, they're just resourceful. They're just being resourceful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's almost a survival mentality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's
So
like they got to survive somehow. So why not do this?
Well, and I love it because I know I mentioned the poor family's children clearly being talented. The dad, obviously, poor family's dad goes in there and nails his interview with driving the car, right? Like
right.
Hmm.
as someone who occasionally will be
Drive
driving to
cars.
work as someone who's driven a car once or twice with a cup of coffee. I never eat cereal while driving. However, that would be insane. But drinking a cup of coffee, spilled it on myself once or twice.
Mm,
It's a difficult thing to do. So that was impressive. The mom sitting there trying to figure out how to make this ramen with sirloin does it well enough to have the rich family's mom devour the entire bowl
Yeah.
off of a moment's notice. Pretty impressive. And
pretty impressive.
even probably the worst thing that the wealthy family talks about is that the dad smells a little. And at first I was thinking, well, that's kind of mean. But then I thought about it a little more. And I thought if I had to ride in the car, be driven around every day by someone that smelled bad, I would probably not be as gracious as he was to him. And he doesn't even have the context we do of, yeah, he's boiling his clothes to clean them because he doesn't have
Right.
access to a washing machine. He doesn't even have that context. He has no idea how truly destitute these people
Hmm.
are,
Hmm.
and they are significantly more gracious in their interactions with them than I would be. I don't know if any of you have ever had a coworker who smelled and had BO. Um,
No, but I
Oh
I
yeah.
did just have that happen. So I'm currently filling in some shifts for my family's business, and a customer came in, and they had a strong aroma, and it can be off putting, but you're still trying to serve this person to the best of your ability, or interact with them in a polite and good way. And so the idea of like how do I avoid the elephant in the room of what is happening right now is a real
Yeah.
question
Do
of
you
like,
address it or do you not?
yeah.
Like,
And so for
um,
me, I'm trying to serve that person, so I'm not going to. If it was the other way around and I'm the one being served, that's kind of Luke raises that question of like, is that enough where he would fire the dad? Like they fired over other things. So
yeah.
anyway,
yeah. Well, so,
Chris, go ahead.
well, yeah, what I'm thinking, when I think about this movie and the way Bong Joon Ho, a lot of his films have like anti-capitalist themes. So, like Kolb, I would almost assume that the rich family would just be like inherently evil. But I think this movie does actually maybe not fully condemn, but like you're right that it does not paint either family in a necessarily good or bad light. It is just, it feels like it's trying to say that like whatever status you're born into is going to be the status that you are in.
Mm,
And as much as they try to look and be the part of, that they are able to serve these this rich family, they can't get that stink off them. Like
mm,
it's just always going to be a part of who they are. And you see
mm,
that the son, the poor son, is more optimistic. And we even see this through in the end when he comes up with a plan after his dad has said that like plans are pointless, where you're always going to fail, like you don't know what's going to come up and beat you down. um and that just echoes throughout this movie too. When you think about like, even the rain that the storm that comes about, at that halfway mark in the movie, and it completely wrecks their house, when it is like just up to their chest in sewage water. That's just a minor inconvenience. It doesn't hurt the rich people that much, but the one bad rainstorm completely wipes out the poor family's house. Like the efforts that they would have to go to get out of that situation are so much more Herculean than than the minor inconvenience it takes for the rich people.
And it's that it truly, yeah, I mean, obviously it is the turning point, but you put it really poetically with that, the Herculean nature of it, because the rain is what ruins everything. The rain is the crux of, like, it all falls apart, because you get the visitor, you get the old housekeeper that shows up, but the rain drives the rich family home. They decide to have, again, the pinnacle of like inconvenience. They actually have a camp out in the just in the yard. Like, well, why not? Sure, we have a nice little yard. But for our main characters, the poor family, they are, not only is their false life falling apart, but they get home and everything is falling apart. That, like, literally, as the false life is falling apart and they're trying to salvage everything they can, they get home to literally have to salvage everything they can. And it's just like, this has been what it's been the whole time. It's just been a lie. This is what reality is when the rain comes down, you don't have a shelter. You are done. And so that turning point was so intense, because it felt like everything turned on a dime. Like, I just don't think I realized when I was first watching it how fragile everything was. It felt like they really were
cards.
Yeah, they were pulling it off, like they were doing so well, and then it was like a rainstorm.
Yeah.
Everything just is gone.
It's so quick. And one of the things that, like, when I'm talking about the intentionality of the film and everything, is like, it all builds up to the, when the doorbell rings and it's the old housekeeper at the door. That is like it's about as close as you can get to exactly like halfway of the runtime of the film. Like, it's just like it's they've climbed the stairs, and that's another like motif that I could talk about forever, is the fact that, like, every time you see somebody going upstairs, or the rich people's house is up on a hill, like, it's somebody literally climbing up in status, and then when they're going downstairs, it's somebody always like going lower into their status or whatever. Like,
to play off of that, my favorite shot in the entire movie is during the rainstorm. They get back to their house. The daughter of the poor family goes and holds down all the literal crap spewing out of the toilet.
The toilet spewing.
Climbs up to it out of the poopy water to sit on top of that toilet and smoke a cigarette. And in my mind, that was just so perfectly encapsulating. Like, she is, out of all of them, the most at ease, the most comfortable, the most naturally fitting in that other world. She plays herself off amongst the family, the rich family, as having been part of that. She has the thing, oh, my family's old driver, my dad's brother, my uncle's old driver. Wait, my family's in Chicago now. He might still be. She plays herself off so well, with all of that, and then you have this imagery of everything's going to crap water
literally,
and she not only there, she is climbing up out of it, and then sitting there holding all of it down, and then smoking a cigarette. The shot, the way he
it's
has
such a good shot.
It's great. It's so good.
It's gross.
It's
You're
gross.
Crazy. That's your favorite shot? Unbelievable.
Practically speaking, it's pretty disgusting.
It's the most memorable shot.
Okay.
It's a pretty iconic. It's very good imagery.
There's a lot of Hershey bars they use to get the shots.
Everyone who listens to this can be like, wow, that Luke guy.
What a weirdo.
Wow. He's just brown water squirting out of a toilet. And he's like, this is art.
This is art.
So I think you're really onto something there too, Luke, which is that she is the most effortless in fitting in with the rich family, which I think also leads into her end. Like if we just going to go ahead and talk about the end of the film too, like the fact that she is the one that is stabbed and dies.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think like you have all those the son or her brother like earlier in the film when he's talking about how she was like taking the bath and drinking wine, like she looks like she fits in here. And
Yeah.
she like her, it's like so effortless for her. And you see the other son struggle with that when he looks out at the party and he's like asking the rich daughter, like, do you think I fit in? Like everyone here looks like it's just so easy for them, it's second nature to live this kind of lavish lifestyle. And it was easier for her, and so much so that when the crazy husband comes out, like she's literally in the middle and he just goes up and drives the knife right into her heart.
Yeah. So
sad.
the end. So okay, yeah. Let's the first half.
Do we want to structure this and talk about each half?
Yeah. So
And then we
there's the first half, which is like the con, which is
Yes.
like let's watch a con of a poor family conning a rich family. There's some comedy going on. There's a lot of lighthearted bits. Are they gonna get caught? Ooh,
Yeah,
what's gonna happen?
it was a fun romp.
Yeah, it was a fun romp. But then
I had a great time.
yeah, it was 10 out of 10. Would watch it again. The switch gets flipped, like we've talked about. And I wouldn't label it as horror in the sense of like I'm not watching a horror, but it is horrifying because consistently everything just gets so bad and you're like it can't get worse. And then by the end you're like it all got worse, like horrifyingly worse. So I am very horrified at what is happening and unfolding. But it's not a horror, it's like this thriller ridiculousness and even some of the scary elements. So when they reveal the trauma and what Lucas talked about, the ghost scene, that even starts to take on like the actiony thriller elements, like when she kicks the other mom down the steps, like, and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is happening in front of these, what is going on? So that's kind of the feelings that I get. You got part one, which is like a fun con, fun little romp as they're conning this family, and then the other one is like, how is this still happening? How is it getting worse and worse and worse and worse? Yeah, so that's kind of our two halves. We got insanity and cleverness.
To ask a question, okay, what was your favorite of like the cons in the first half? Like did you have a particular favorite kind of way of getting into the house and getting hired?
I'll go first because the elaborateness of the peach fuzz that we've already referenced, like the elaborateness of the last housekeeper, of like she's just so stubborn. How are we gonna get rid of her? I was like, that is crazy town. Like that's psychotic behavior that you did this. But it worked, and you're like, I almost have to give it to you. So that was bonkers.
I was blown away that they went with tuberculosis. that was what sold it for me, because I wasn't sure what direction they were going with it either. At first I thought, I was like, oh, eventually they'll just have to quit because she just can't handle being around. And then all of a sudden they went with the disease that got my boy Arthur Morgan.
Rest in power.
Yeah, never forget. Gone too soon. But I was not expecting that. And like I said, another thing is just the way they got away with it. And one thing I appreciated about it was like they took advantage of knowing that this rich housewife is trying to keep all of this from her husband, because like I said, she can't cook, she can't clean. So I'm trying not to quote.
You're trying not to rap like Cardi B.
Try not to finish the Cardi B line. But managing this household is her one thing. That's like her job, is to bring people in, and this family totally takes advantage of that. So yeah, I think the peach fuzz is absolutely, for me, was the best con.
Cold.
For me, it was the daughter's con, because I find art ridiculous sometimes. And the fact that she just Googled something for a little bit and then made everything up, and the mom just kind of accepted it because that's how art is. I was like, that's funny because, yeah,
Yes.
someone who hasn't gone to college for art would just assume that that thing in the corner means something. That
Mm.
she could have just asked the son, hey, did something happen a year ago? Oh, I'm just going to mention that to the mom now. Oh, my. Then she freaks out like, yeah, something did happen a year ago. And, or whatever year it was. That one was my favorite con because of my disdain for art.
Was the
which is so good, yeah, because like he even says like, or they're looking at the art that he had made or whatever, and they're like, is that a chimpanzee? And they're like, no, it's like a self-portrait or whatever. Like, they're trying to figure that out. Although that's a fun detail. If you go back and look at that picture, it is absolutely the ghost that the kids saw. Like, it's like
Right.
totally the
oh,
old husband. Yeah, if you go back and look at the picture. But yeah, I also love that it is like she's just completely BSing them, like, and she does it so immediate too. Like,
Mhm.
she is able to turn that character on so fast and like
Mm.
be like, I won't have the mother in the room while I'm teaching my art therapy, like, like to get her off the scent or whatever, and then completely convinces her. Yeah, I would agree.
yeah.
That's such a good one. I do love all of the rehearsal in the acting and trying to do
Yes.
the interview for the poor dad to get the driver job as well.
I loved
They
how
were prepared.
perfectly, yeah, I loved how perfectly they had gotten a lot of the mom's lines. And I know it's like cliche to have the
Yeah.
person, it's like a trope in movies, but it was so fitting for how they had built that character up,
Yes.
where it was like, yeah, they've got an exact bead on the mother, and they've got an exact bead on these people, but the thing that they're misunderstanding is the way they view them. It's like that
Hmm.
is not a one-to-one relationship like the poor dad discovers at the end of the
Oh yeah.
movie.
Mm.
A good question. That's kind of one you could. I may have stolen it from a YouTube video or something, but like the title Parasite, you could ask the question like, who does that apply to? Like, who is the
Mhm.
parasite upon who and upon what? Because I think that they're, at first you're like, oh well, the poor family is having a parasitic relationship with the rich family. They're literally like siphoning their money, and food and like security from them, um, like getting 4 salaries out of this one family. But there's an argument to be made too that like the rich family have this parasitic relationship to the people that they are leeching off of, that they want these people's time and their hard work, at the drop of a hat. It all it costs them is a little bit of overtime money, and that doesn't hurt them at all. um
Yeah.
like and
Mm.
then you also have the sub basement family, which I can get into, like even further parasitic relationships. It's so
Mm.
deep.
Yeah. I didn't see that coming at all. Like, obviously I
Mm.
knew there was going to be something with people living in the basement. And I when all of a sudden the former housekeeper went down there, the shot where she's running down the stairs and it's following her through, and the poor family's mom is kind of going like, what? Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As she's running, like, I was like, that's what I'm saying.
It's a
It's
very natural
what
reaction.
I was like,
The
that's
audience surrogate.
what, as the audience. And so
Yeah.
the turn and the twist that it took with that, um,
So
was
that was going to
so
be my
unexpected.
question is for all of us, but for you two, Coleman and Luke. And Luke, you just said yours. Yeah. What was your visceral feelings? Because there's a lot of twists, but that by far is the biggest one. The discovery that there is a third family in the mix. Is just it, I remember feeling so, like you said, like, what? Like, how did this happen? And it's like the tuberculosis, like, this is where we're going, and then it somehow works stupendously. And so, how did that feel when you realized, oh my goodness, there is a man down here?
Well,
Real
I
bad.
thought, yeah. Well, I thought this is where the evil of the rich family would have came in. Like they intentionally kept this guy down there. That's what I thought was going to be it, because like
Mm-hmm.
he's hitting
Mm-hmm.
the lights with his head as the rich dad's coming up the stairs. I'm like, oh, does
Yeah.
this guy control like the house as like a slave, or as like a part of the machine? That's what I thought. So I was surprised when it didn't happen that way. But yeah, someone living in the basement. That's something I didn't see coming. Luke?
Yeah, no, I wasn't expecting it at all either. And what I especially wasn't expecting was the length of time that individual had been living there.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't expecting either like the almost like not almost like the worship of Mr. Park, the rich family's dad, where
Mm-hmm.
he's basically like writing prayers like a good Voron, no, a bad Voron man, because he shouldn't be
Bad
writing
Voron man.
prayers. That's
Bad Voron.
for all you Sanderson fans out there.
Bad Voron.
Bad Voron man. But I was just totally blown away by that. Yeah, sorry, Cole. And
Jurassic Park.
and honestly, even more than that, I was blown away by how quickly the tables turned once
Mm-hmm.
the old housekeeper realized that this new family was effectively trying to pull the same con she had been
Yes.
running.
It's a great moment.
I really thought that was where I started. I was like, okay, because at first I thought when the family was there at the house, I was like, oh, this other family's going to come there. They're going to get stuck in the basement and they're going to be stuck down there and they're going to be hiding in the house. Was not expecting a hidden bunker, but then was really not expecting this other parasitical family to turn on the other one that was attempting to do the same thing. And I think there's a lot to be said. Like obviously trauma is a big theme in this movie, right? Like the rich family's kid traumatized by seeing this guy living within there, this new family traumatized by the family that had been living in there as well.
Mhm.
And it's like this like cyclical, almost parasitical relationship between all three of these families.
Yeah.
Big if true.
It's like the class warfare that is really happening is not the upper class versus the lower class. It's the lower class versus the other lower class.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
Like there it becomes a territorial thing. Like as you said, like no, you're like I need this food for my husband. Like you can't be, you can't be in here messing that up. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it
I
even down
remember. Oh,
to
go ahead.
uh the poor family. We see them right at the beginning. They're in a sub basement, and even that's intentional. That it's like they're in this like half above ground, half below ground basement.
Mm-hmm.
But it's in the like the lower part of the city where they can't get a Wi-Fi signal unless they get as close to the ceiling as they can. But then when they're at the rich family's house that's up at the top of the hill, there's a family that's in an actual basement, this like complete concrete bunker, but they've got signal. They have like their
Didn't even
phones work
think
down
about
there.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, like there's all this class stuff that's going on, and because like that class and like the kind of the upstairs and downstairs nature of class in films, like that's in like Downton Abbey, like that's in like or a ton of like old movies, but with this one throwing in the third family, it's this like kind of crazy element. Like it's like there's peanut butter jelly and then there's just like a firecracker in the middle. uh
That's funny.
yeah.
I remember being so struck by the moment that the poor mom, when she rejects, because the third mom is begging, right? The wife, she's
Mhm.
begging, like, please, you don't understand. Like, and she even gives like these viscerally gut wrenching reasons of like, we're being hunted and we owe
Yeah, they're
this
hiding from
money.
debt collectors. Yeah.
Like, please understand what I'm going through. And the mom does not, like, I don't think that was an act. I think that's true to her. Like, this is her. This is not
Mhm.
rich her. This is like, no, heck no, you're not ruining my golden goose. And that for me was the moment, like what you said, the class war is not, they relish the opportunity to maybe become like the rich person. So they don't, they see them as a mark, but not as like an at war with them.
Mhm.
And so when it becomes like, oh heck no, and she's like, I'm calling the cops. And then the other mom, when they all fall down, and she flips on her phone, and she gets the recording, and then boom, tables have turned on you. It's on, and there's no empathy, there's no sympathy, there's no like, hey, you know what? We're literally in the same boat. How do we work together to make this happen? How do we, or at least understand? I understand why you did it. Clearly, you understand why I did it. There's is zero. It's kill or be killed moment, and they ruin it all for everybody because they can't see the other person as a person. It's you can't have what I need
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
all.
They got to fight over the same scraps.
Yep. This is the only scrap left, and I need it for my family. And the hard thing is because that their house gets washed away in literal poop water. The other family's in debt collector situation. Like you even if you don't empathize, you understand like, oh, these are really really desperate people.
Yes.
And so it's not that they don't have humanity, it's had to set it aside at these moments because they can't afford to be what they would perceive as weak, like
Yeah.
Well,
giving
They have
up
to fight so
things.
much harder to get something that is so much less.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And every
literally.
every single family in this movie is looking out for their family first and foremost,
Mhm.
right? Like with like the husband of the secret family, the moment gets free, it's revenge. He's getting
Right.
revenge. He is
Mhm.
no questions asked. I'm
He's
going
yeah, he,
after,
he's a little crazy town.
and he's kind of good. He's pretty good at getting revenge. Did a pretty good job of it.
He
And then
accomplishes his goal.
even then at the end, when the Mr. Park, the rich family's father, this is all going on, immediately goes, grabs his kid, is fighting for him, trying to get him out of there. I don't care about this active situation. I'm getting out of here. I'm getting my kid to the hospital, right? He's frothing at the mouth. He's,
He's having a seizure,
convulsing,
right?
having
Yeah.
a
Mhm.
seizure. Yeah.
He's
He's
having
like,
a seizure.
I'm getting him out of here. Give me the keys. Um,
No, he
he's
says, "Come drive the car."
yeah, oh yeah, that's right. He tells him to
He
come drive
tells
the
him,
car at
"You
first.
you come drive the car."
Yeah, we
Which
can't wait for an ambulance.
to be
And he
fair,
doesn't
he doesn't
know
know that this is his daughter.
that
Yeah.
he's holding his own daughter who is bleeding out in his arms. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what I thought was so interesting was in that moment, and this is kind of what I was getting back to what I was talking about earlier, where the poor family's dad is a little passive. I think that when he sees, Mr. Park going and getting the keys, holding his nose up at the killer,
Mhm.
Mm.
and it's kind of that
Ooh.
breaking that spell of, oh, we're kind of the same. I'm gonna be like you. It kind of breaks that spell, and then he finally decides to take action for the first time, and it isn't to go, um, help his daughter, check on her. It's to go and murder this this man,
What an action.
um, that I'm really interested to hear the rest of your guys' thoughts on that. But I thought it was so interesting. It's just this, suddenly he's taking action, and it's out of hatred of, I think, this man that he thought that he was. He thought this was someone who was like
Mhm.
him, that they were kind of the same. And oh, the poor family's dad, I could have ended up like this if things had gone my way, right? Um,
Mm.
and he ends up taking out on this dad who is trying to save his son and do this. a guy who he views at the end of the day, once again, he he views him as his employee. He is not his friend. He is being polite and
Yeah.
Yep.
friendly. He reminds him, hey, you're getting paid to be here. Think of this as part of your work, right?
Yeah.
Drive the car.
Yeah,
Yeah.
drive the car, dress up
put the
as a Native
headdress on.
American. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, attack my
Like,
son with a bow
you
and
don't have
arrow.
dignity. He says
Yeah,
multiple, the rich dad says multiple points through the movie how much he hates when people cross the line. Like, that is
yeah,
a thing that he just keeps uttering, is he doesn't like when people cross the line. He says it about the former driver, that they've conned him into thinking that he's like fooling around in the back seat of their
yeah,
car, like he's being gross. And then he just keeps mentioning that he's I can't believe that he crossed the line, like I won't stand for that. And he keeps saying that he's like, he just continues to complain about that, and talks about how the smell of Mr. Kim is like, it's just like people who ride the subway. And the mom's like, oh,
mm,
I can't remember the last time I rode a subway. And
Mm.
uh that there's always going to be this line, like, as much as they want to act like, yeah, that they're doing the right thing, there is something inherent in their status that um precludes them from actually, you know, being kind, or,
yeah.
they're never going to be the same. um
Even in their role play, they
yes.
they take on where it's like literally a fetishist a fetishizing of people like in who ride the subways, like actual plight,
Yeah, right.
right? Which that's one of the things I love about this movie is it's sometimes it's very subtle and sometimes it's horribly on the
It
nose.
is very on the
um
nose,
Yep.
yes.
and so
Something that I
Cole,
think
did
Bong Joon Ho
you?
does well is he will have a lot of subtext, but sometimes he will just make the subtext text.
Yeah.
Um, and
and it was
I
in a
wanted to
funny
throw in,
way.
yeah, yes, Luke. I love that you also bring up that, he sees the poor dad sees that the rich dad views him as, equal. That he has the same smell as the guy who's been living in the sub basement.
Yeah,
Um, and then, like, crosses that line, right, and takes action finally. And then immediately after that, to go into like the bigger ending, he goes into hiding in the exact same, like, he literally becomes like the crazy man in the sub basement, and
Mhm.
is like locked down there. So,
Yep.
like, in taking action and feeling like he's going to finally take a step up, he immediately has to go
mhm,
into hiding into a basement.
Yeah.
yeah.
Colby, you opened your mouth there. Did you have something to?
Oh, I opened my mouth a few times, but I think the moments are past. We'd,
Oh,
All
we'd be
right,
going,
man.
but we'd be going back.
What
do
are
it.
your thoughts on the biggest ending, Colby?
Oof.
Big picture ending there.
Okay.
That she's mentioning.
Well, now that we're brought back to it, Shelly. So I don't know if I'm going to bring us back to a scene that was earlier in the movie, and I don't know if it proves your point or disproves your point about the
Oh, I'm
dad's
excited.
action or inaction. So they're all squatting in the rich family's home while they're gone. The mom and the dad are joking around, and then the dad like threateningly grabs his wife's shirt and almost punches her, but he doesn't. Now, was that actual playing, or did he snap for a second and regain composure? So that's my question.
Mm.
Because that seems like action. If he was going to do it, does he actually have that violent side that just snaps at a moment, or does that prove your inaction thing where I'm not actually going to do it? I just was playing around. What do you
I-
think?
That's a great question. And this is making me think of the question that he keeps on almost crossing the line with Mr. Park of, do you love your wife? Do you actually love her?
Mm.
And I noticed that that's the person that he did that with, right? So I I don't know. I think that's a great question and a great observation because I had completely forgotten about that scene. Um, I think it goes to show that that is inside him, and I think it kind of points to this bigger obvious piece that this is a man who is clearly very unsatisfied with his life and is very unhappy with where he is and how the cards played out for him.
Mm,
and someone who it seems thinks much more highly of himself than he actually is or
mm.
should.
Mm.
And maybe that's an unfair reading of him. Um,
I don't
Chris,
think
what
that
do you
entirely
think?
would be. Yeah, I think that it is that scene in particular is one that can be interpreted both ways. I tend to think that he was acting, and he was messing around, given how quickly he switches back. However, a good actor draws upon past experience and what they know. So, like, I do think that he probably started to boil up a little bit there. He grabs her by the shirt and everything. And I think that there's a little bit of truth in the lie, right? So that's how I kind of viewed it. Yeah, and it goes along with how he's able to act, and they're all acting to get into the spot that they are. Um, and so when he does that, he's just acting to even fool his kids. But there, it does kind of foreshadow that there is this side of him that is unhappy, feels like he's just been nothing but beat down his whole life, pretty much.
Well, so it's interesting you bring up the acting bit because in the first half, they're acting to gain, right?
Mm,
So they're acting to gain. There's a dangerous attractiveness, right? What can we get away with? So when it's like that, the energy is very up, right? Like it's like we have to be on our game. But look
mhm.
at what we're getting away with.
Yeah,
And
it's fun.
you see them on the couch, they're sprayed out, they're drinking their wine, they're just having a blast. In the second half, they're acting to keep. And it's desperate and it's like
It's survival. Yeah.
fingernails in the dirt. Like I will not let go. And so the children are portrayed as hoity-toity high class tutors and teachers and therapists, and so when they have to go to the party they have to show up as guests. The help, which is the parents, they have to show up and they have to be subservient, but they've all equally just lost their home.
Hmm.
And so this has now become, if we don't keep this, we've lost everything. And so I think of when I've gone through stressful situations and like even just think about work. You're at work and you're having a bad day versus when you're having a good day and you're like, I would rather not be at work, but at the same time, hey, I'm here. I'm going to do what I can do. And then you have a bad day and you're like, I have to bear through this and I can't break because I need to be professional, can't let this spill over, and but it's like the ultimate stakes because if they show, I'm upset. Like they could lose their job, but two, it could all, the house of cards is already what is happening.
Sorry,
The desk has risen.
sorry,
Luke
I have
has
standing power now.
Luke, talk about class,
It's gonna
status
really
and
open up that
class.
diaphragm.
Yeah,
It's a much
That's
lower
right.
tone.
talk about,
Flexing.
I'm like crouching on the floor and
Yeah.
his desk is rising. So
Well, sorry.
talk about stairs.
This podcast is brought to you by Uplift Desks.
Yeah, uplift
That
Yeah.
desks.
I
Try
that
to
I
uplift
bought off
yourself to a higher
Craigslist from
status.
some
Yeah,
that I bought off Craigslist from some yuppies in Sun Prairie. So
that's good.
yeah,
But yeah, so
sorry.
they are like struggling to keep their life. Like we've already lost all of our stuff. We're living in in a shelter for survival victims of this flood, and then boom, the beautiful decor and the bright lights, and you go from like dreary and dark in that setting where they live to like pristine and clean and bright lights, and we're setting up the party in the like Luke said, the 1500s. Let's go back to the War of the Crane and how like we need to show the culture of what we're doing here, and they are acting the whole time. The whole time they have to be these other people, and it's stressful watching them try to not crack. So when they finally do crack, you've been waiting this whole time. Like it's gonna happen. When is it gonna happen? When are
Yeah.
they? And they don't crack for so many times. Like when she kicks the wife down the stairs, you're like, hasn't cracked yet. Good Lord, what is going on?
Yeah. I have a question now. What do you think? I when I loved the line, the son when he was talking about like that stone, the dad, when they're in the gym, he's like, why do you still have that? And he's like, it's sticking to me. He's like, it's sticking to me. This idea of like material wealth, like, right. He's like, it's sticking to me. It won't let go of me. What do you think he was going to do with it in the basement? Was he
Oh,
going to go kill them with it? Was he going to leave it in there? What do you guys think he was doing with that?
actually, I want to hear Kolb's thoughts first because I haven't heard enough from
I
Kolb.
thought murder.
Yeah.
Oh well, I appreciate that. I'm a quiet guy. I thought it was murder.
Yeah.
Moida.
Yep. So once he dropped it and it rolled down the stairs, he knew his plan was over and everything was ruined. That's the look he had on his face.
Yeah.
I would agree with Kolb. I think
Yeah,
I was
Yeah.
thinking Moida.
I think it's he's going there with the intention to murder or to the very least threaten, but I don't know why you would even go down there to threaten him. And he's going down there with the intention to murder, but it's also the thing where the material wealth falling and slipping out of his hands is also a metaphor in and of its own, that it's like,
Oh.
this curse that's driven him there, and it's the thing that ends up almost killing him because, then it's the rock is the thing that's smashed over his head and gives him the thing that requires him to get brain surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And like you think I remember the first time I saw it, I was just like, oh, he's just dead now.
I thought
Like,
he was
Oh,
dead.
I
Yeah.
100% thought he was dead.
yeah.
I
So
even,
when you get like the final twist ending of he's actually awake and they were able to only get off with probation, like that's another like I can't believe this is happening kind of moment.
yeah.
And
I
then yeah.
I love, even just as an extra note on that metaphor of it slipping out of his hand, even then the pursuit of
He's
that,
still chasing it.
of material wealth, chasing it is, and it dragging him down there is what ultimately was the final nail in the coffin for them. If he had, his dad had shared what his plan was, his dad ended up, he found, well, he didn't, that's right, in the gym he found out his dad doesn't have a plan. So he said, I need to take action. And him taking action is what ended up getting his sister killed and his dad having to go into hiding. Ultimately, that was kind of the last step in that process that caused it, versus leaving them down in there and eventually would have starved to death or something, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh man.
Oh man.
So on that, to kind of, we are approaching like the ending of the movie. So as I mentioned, the son wakes up from brain surgery after I think they say a month or two, a couple months. Finds out that his sister did not survive a fatal stabbing of the heart.
Turns out.
It turns out that's not good for you. And they don't know where the dad is, and he eventually finds out once the kind of like the hubbub and the case has died and the feds aren't kind of following him to try and figure out where the dad is, that he observes the house, which has now had like a German family move into it, and witnesses that the lights are flickering like it used to with the previous person in the basement, and that his dad is actually snuck in through the garage, went into the basement, and is sending out this letter in Morse code every day, hoping that the son sees it because his son was once a scout and would know Morse code. Like all these things come back. And then after that, you get the son writes a letter back and has this he has this plan. Like, I wrote it down because it's the last things that's said in the movie. So he's, Dad, today I made a plan, a fundamental plan. I'm going to earn money, a lot of it. University, a career, marriage, those are all fine. But first, I'll earn money. And when I have money, I will buy that house. And on the day we move in, Mom and I will be in the yard because the sunshine is so nice there. And all you'll need to do is walk up the stairs and take care until then. And it's such a wild ending because you're seeing this vision play out, and then the next thing you see is the camera panning down from the sub basement house with like I call it the sock chandelier, where they have those socks drying on the little like thing, hanging from their ceiling. And it's winter, and it just pans down, and it just kind of him's like kind of dreaming about this plan that he's made. And I don't know, it's like a faux optimistic ending. I don't know, did you guys have a read on that? Did you find it to be optimistic that the son has this plan, or do you have this thought of like, that son's never going to get the money, he's going to be stuck in the spinning his tires his whole life?
I have a. I'll let other people go first because I think that ending was unbelievably dark, and I could explain why, but I'll let other people
Yeah.
go first.
Cole, what did you think?
I thought it was delusional. I
Yeah.
thought all of his plans have failed. He is such an insecure person that, yeah, he thinks he has this plan, but it's not going to work out. Everything he's done has been either out of insecurity or he's stolen ideas from other people. I'm thinking of like he was given this job opportunity because his friend knew that he wouldn't steal the girl, but he steals the girl anyway. And he even uses his friend's words like, once she's graduated, I'm going to ask her to marry. That's exactly what the friend said.
Yeah.
And like, he doesn't have his own ideas. He has no confidence in himself. He has no plans until they're bad plans and then they fail. So yeah, when that does pan down, I was like, oh, it didn't happen. This is just in his head and it's never going to happen. That's how I felt at the end of the movie.
I was left feeling very sad for the same reasons. Like I just felt like, oh no, like this. Faux optimism is a great way of putting it. It's meant almost the way it's portrayed artistically to present like, oh wow, like kind of a turning point, right? Like good honest work, get the money, get your dad out of this bad situation. Finally, you're going to stop lying. But when you realize the underlying tone of class status, you never make it out of what you the stink never comes off, like what you said before. It's like, is it going to happen? That seems to be a no, is what the film is telling us. It's not going to happen. So I was left sad about that.
All right, Shelly, break it down for us.
Yeah,
What you got?
what's your
I'm
incredibly
gonna
dark
go.
take?
I'm gonna go one step further. I think the entire like last 5 minutes of the movie, to the point where he starts talking about how the people the police are sending after him are like incompetent, and you see the guy falling down the stairs. I don't think any of that is even real. I think this is all happening in his head because
Oof. Oh, that's tough.
he's so clearly was in like a coma, medically induced or otherwise, for quite some time. He kept talking about the cop who didn't look like a cop and the doctor who didn't look like a doctor, and he just kept laughing. He laughed at his sister's thing,
Memorial
and then
gravesite.
all of a sudden he is riding the subway totally fine, going out, hiking up the mountain to look, reading, all of a sudden getting there in time to realize that there is what's what I'm looking for, this Morse code message from his father, gets back home, goes in, doesn't have any of like the same facial expressions. I don't think any of that was actually, I think that was all his imagination in his head, dreaming of. I think the dad actually is in there. I do think the dad clearly went and hid. I think that he is in there, but I think the idea of the son's pulling himself up by his own bootstraps and he's got this whole plan. Um, I don't think any of that is real, and I think it's unattainable because I think from the brain damage he sustained from pursuing material wealth. Yeah. I think that's why I think it's like a step further. I think it's not possible because I'm not sure if he's going to be doing anything on his own
not stable
in the future. Yeah.
So I want to hear Chris, what you think about that, because I've never considered it from that angle. And so, if that is true, I'm going to go on an if that would be true, which I find that fascinating. What we have is two endings. We have an ending of here's what we see. This is how he actually is. His brain is not well, and then the camera and the plot flips to what he sees himself as in his brain damaged state. Would be that theory theory at that moment of like, and then that does make me question, like, is the dad still alive and well? Is he is he sending out anything, blah 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 blah? But yeah, Chris, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's a theory I had not heard before, but it could track. Like, I think that's definitely a way to view it, that he is in a delusion that is brought on by brain damage. Because when, like, I do think it's notable that he says, like, the policeman that didn't look like a policeman and the doctor that didn't look like a doctor, like, is almost just how he views, like, the working class in general. Like, is that everybody is acting, almost like what you were saying, Zach, earlier about, like, when you go to work and you're having a bad day, you have to put on a brave face, like, and who know, like, your 20 other coworkers might be doing all the exact same thing. Like, you don't know what's going on under the surface. Yeah. Imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
So that's how I always read it. But to view it as like, that he is just completely in delusion and has made up this whole scenario in his head, I think also fits that, like, he's his status and his, as a representative of the lower class and everything, that he has driven himself to a state of delusion. Granted, that's brought on by a blunt force trauma, but it's still like
wealth.
it's still something. Yeah, but he, like, pursued it, and then, like, that's what he has begotten himself.
And it kind of contrasts there was this pursuit of the have not, what I do not have, and there never is, if we're going to look at it through the lens of decrying the capitalist mantra of just gaining more and more and more, there's never a desire to, not that there was much for them to be content with, but like, he lost two of his family members, and his focus, rather than living with his mom, is I'm going to gain as much money as possible to get dad free, which is noble in one sense if it's valid. But if it's not valid and the delusion is going to just ruin his life forever, then he's losing a chance to live with his mom.
He's going to keep pursuing wealth, and it's going to keep giving him blunt force trauma. Like, it's going to keep smashing into his head like a rock.
Well, and I like the idea too of Chris. What was it he says he's not going to do? He's like, I'm not going to go to school. I'm not going to.
Well, he says, like,
stuff.
University, a career, marriage, those are all fine. Yeah. But what I need is money. Yeah.
Need money. Yeah. The things that,
like, those things will come along with it, but the actual thing I need is money so that I can buy that house and free my dad.
Which is how the upper crust family treated them. Like, it didn't matter how smart they were or what they did. Like, what mattered is I'm giving you money in exchange for everything about you. Like, you serve one function. You tutor my kid. You provide art therapy. You drive my car. So when there's a tragedy, if your function isn't useful, like, I don't need an art therapist. She's actually dead, but she was just my therapist. Like, this is my kid. So driver, you drive my car. Like, you are your role. And so it's all viewed through the lens of functionality and transactional natures. And so if he's just striving to get money, he's never actually going to have relationships or move forward with any part of his life until he gets what he thinks he wants, which is to be able to be the one dictating transactions to others for himself.
Yes.
Respect. Money's great.
I'll have to say.
And the moral of the story is he's not wrong.
Get paid.
Get
first
paid.
and foremost.
Yeah, I don't see the problem here.
Rack, racks on racks on racks, stacks on
Yes.
stacks on stacks.
Well,
Um,
it's okay. So, Chris, you labeled it. Well, so Cole, did you have anything to add? To not contribute. You have a lot to contribute. Do you have anything to
I do.
add to that?
I have to add this.
yeah.
Does the mom deserve, poor mom, does she deserve like scrapper of the year?
Scrapper
Ooh,
of the year.
Like
that's a
she
great
she put up
title.
a huge fight at the end with third dad, third husband,
Yes.
whatever.
Crazy husband.
Crazy husband. There you go.
Yeah.
Surprisingly so. Where I was like, "What is this movie now?" And it was an enjoyable watch. She really kicked some butt,
She
The
comes in as a
mom,
Dodge,
ringer like
dodging
multiple
Literally,
knives,
times.
literally kicked
yeah,
some
pulling
butt.
swords or kebabs, and
Yeah, the
it
kebab
was great.
skewers.
yeah, the dodge was straight out of like Elden Ring. It was incredible.
It's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Awesome.
Chris, so we've talked about the whole movie. You
Yes.
labeled this as a perfect, and I said chef's kiss movie.
Hmm.
My chef's kiss comes from a lot when I watch movies. It's less critical. It's a lot more subjective. How I feel about the movie. What did it leave me thinking about? Am I continuing to think about it? That's usually a big thing for me. Like,
Does it stick in your mind?
is it
Yeah.
still, am I still thinking about this all the years later? Can I vividly draw up, like, and that could be Parasite, it could be Lion King, because I was super impacted, when I was 6 or whatever. So, but for you to say this is a perfect movie, there's some elements I'm assuming that's gone into this. So in a brief summary, we've gone over it. What made this the perfect movie for you?
Oh, I think that, like you said, one thing for me is like, does the movie like linger in my mind? And this is a movie that, yeah, like I think about and I can see scenes from it like in my head, whether they be funny little things, like the shot of the dad in the basement like slamming his head against the lights, and like
Mm,
flooding his face, or like um
yeah, that was
the
hilarious.
it's so funny. But the poor sister, like, doing the little song before she rings the doorbell, that Jessica, only
Mm.
child in Illinois, Chicago, like those little like those little motifs, or the way she like flicks the or no that the sun the way they flick the vial with the peach fuzz in it, like
Oh
all
yeah.
those kinds of little things stick out to me. Like I said, I think it's really well done. It can be peeled back, as we've done in this podcast. We've, like, just keep looking at all these different layers, and how it is very fun just to like look at and watch and enjoy. But then there's all of this satire and criticism and metaphor that's going on underneath. Um, I think too that there's a bunch of visual stuff I could talk about too, like really
Mhm.
quick. There's often in the frame of the film, there's usually some line that divides the rich families and the poor families. Like if you think about like the first time you see the rich mom, and the old housekeeper goes out to, she's like asleep on a table outside, and the point of view we see is actually from the sun looking outside of the window, and like the seam of the window is literally like split right where like the housekeeper is, and on the left side, and then on the right side is like the rich mom. And there's stuff like that, like
Mm, that's
shots
good.
where like that pillar that is right next to the stairwell,
Mhm.
that line will be literally separating the rich family and the poor family, and like when they cross those lines matter. So there's all sorts of these layers that you can dig through with this movie, and the way it sticks in my craw is when it's just so hard to shake, and it's
Mm,
part of why I think it's a perfect movie. Like there
it's
are
good.
some there's movies like I can get into it a little bit later, but like 2019 is a good movie year, and there's some stuff that I think is really well made, like The Irishman from Martin Scorsese,
Mm,
which is like kind of almost like a capstone of a trilogy of some of Scorsese's gangster movies like Goodfellas and Casino. Um, and I think that movie is really, really good. but it doesn't quite stick in my craw the same way. And there are some odd things in it, like just, some of the de-aging, but like Robert De Niro is still an old man acting in the movie. And Parasite just kind of came through. It hit at this crucial time where like the Academy had started to broaden, and like film culture at large, like we were getting more accepting in America of these foreign films. And I think all of this stuff kind of like bred to a perfect storm to make it what is, in my estimation, just like a perfect movie. Like this is one of the best movies of the 2010s, in my opinion. And
Nice.
I don't know. I'd have to like really go and look at it and think really hard, but there's not too many movies since Parasite that I think I like more than Parasite. Like I really, really like this movie.
I remember when you told me to watch it, and I don't think it was even like a heavy suggestion. Like you didn't personally text me. It was one of our blasts in like, a group text, and
Yeah, sure.
when I was like, "Hey, are you serious? Like, is this?" And you were like, "Oh yeah, like you need to go watch this." And then sure enough, like when I watched it, I was blown away. And anybody who's seen the movie, even if it's not your cup of tea, I think everybody would acknowledge like, no, I understand. It's a good movie. Like
It's a good movie.
it's very tightly scripted, like you said. Like, and I think that there's elements like that, like of the artistic nature of the lines that you're talking about. Like if I have that stuff pointed out to me, that's not my first viewing, but seeing that stuff is really cool because not every director is going to do that or have the time or even make space to have it done. Like they maybe someone does think of it, but they're like, it's not my priority level to be artistic like that. I'm just going to go for this or that shot. It's good. I think that it is one that will stand quite the test of time film wise. It's good.
I wouldn't normally do this, but I could read to you my favorite Letterboxd review of this movie.
Oh, please do.
I think it's the most popular one, but it's like it's kind of an essay that's almost written like a poem.
Is it 6 pages long?
No, it's not.
Then I don't want to hear it.
Oh shoot! Okay, I won't read it. By a user named Filbert Dye. It was rated 5 stars with a heart.
Oh, Filbert.
It reads like this: there is a house on the hill. Sorry, I'm going to start over. There is a house on a hill, and there are people in it, and they're nice, but not really. There is a garden, and there they get a lot of sunlight, and it is nice, and they get to sleep there sometimes. There is a house underground, and there are people in it, and they're the first to tell you that they're not very nice. They're con men, grifters, forgers, and imposters. They sit among stink bugs, and they've been there for so long that maybe they've convinced themselves that they just belong there. There is a rock, and it is a gift, but it is also a burden. And maybe it's a metaphor, but it's also just a rock, solid and heavy, difficult to lug around, and dangerous in the wrong hands. Some people will tell you that it's supposed to bring wealth, but again, it's also just a rock. There is a line, and it cannot be crossed. There is a smell, and it comes from the underground, and the people who live in the house on the hill can smell it. And the people who live underground try to imagine a life in the sun, a future where they aren't just garbage to be washed away in the rain. But there is a smell that sticks to them, and they know that they can never really belong. There is a world, and it is nice, but not really. There are houses on hills and houses underground. There is plenty of sun, but it isn't for everybody. There are people grateful to be slaves and people unhappy to be served. There are systems that we are born into, and they create these lines that cannot be crossed. And we all dream of something better, but we've been living with these lines for so long that we've convinced ourselves that there really isn't anything to be done. There is a knife, and it doesn't do much in the long run, but there will always be some satisfaction in crossing some lines.
Man,
Yeah.
that was a Letterboxd review.
That was a Letterboxd review. Like usually it's just like
night. That was an art piece, right?
Usually it's just like Captain America and the Winter Soldier, like they're gay for each other. Like it's usually something that like super pithy and stupid.
Very much Letterboxd.
But like that one, I read that and I was like, oh dang, that's a really good like little summary of a lot of the themes of this movie.
And
it didn't rhyme though.
It did not rhyme. No, it's not a true good poet.
Oh my goodness, the uncultured swine in this
Oh.
podcast. There's some things in that poem even that just like has me going in other directions. But we, for the sake of time, we will not do that. So, Chris,
Yeah.
is there any last things you would like to share? Because that what an ending
Yeah, right. Yeah.
to read
So
that
yeah,
poem. It's good. It's
really
good.
quick, I can go through the streamer algorithm, the notable
Yep.
awards,
Give me
talk
the
about
give me the
2019.
suggestions.
Yeah. So streamer or some Netflix algorithm, streamer algorithm. Kind of the three I came up with if you liked this movie. Triangle of Sadness. I actually mentioned that one earlier from Ruben Östlund. It's a dark comedy and a satire that is about wealthy guests and like the crew on this cruise ship, and something kind of goes wrong. Um, there's also Burning, which is another South Korean movie from 2018. It's a psychological thriller, very slow burn, class dynamics. And then honestly, I think the other uh, big awards like shakeup that happened around this time was actually in 2017. Get Out was nominated for Best Picture,
Mm.
and it did not win, but that was an award season shakeup. But that is another like it's kind of a social horror. And Parasite does not have as much of the horror elements outside of like a couple of the shots and stuff in the second half. But Get Out is a scarier movie, but it is also dissecting like class and specifically in that movie racism. But there's another movie like I think if you like Parasite, you're probably gonna enjoy Get Out as well. It has
Nice.
that same like this movie works as a horror movie, but the more you scratch, the more you get your fingernails underneath the surface, like the richer it gets.
Which, if I'm not incorrect, Jordan Peele, right,
Jordan
directed that.
Peele, yes,
Yeah.
his
Yeah,
directorial debut, and now he
Can
is like
that was his
arguably one of
debut.
our yeah, that was his directorial debut.
Wow.
yeah.
Um,
Can
and it's
confirm Get Out is excellent and scary. It is
yeah.
the
Me and
yeah.
Luke have about the same level of tolerance for horror. So
Well, do you have
that
a tolerance for horror?
I do and I don't.
Sure,
Where,
to an
uh,
extent.
yeah, I can watch it. Um, but usually for me, I really need a not a necessarily a happy ending, but at least not an evil ending. Um,
Sure.
hopefully.
yeah, you could say that. But like the shot of the guy looking up, like the
Yeah,
horror shot in this movie, I watched it unblinking the whole time, but like you could just feel the hair on your neck standing up because it was just a
yeah.
freaky shot.
Ooh.
So I can get freaked out really bad, but I won't turn away.
Yeah.
So I do have a tolerance for it. Well, I do watch a lot of horror movies, but I usually get a little spooked.
I looked away.
He immediately
His
blinked.
eyes
I
are so
had to
freaky.
see.
It's like they're so big and
Yeah,
like yeah,
Yeah.
like
I had to
there's like
see
you
what would
can
happen,
yeah, for sure.
which nothing
Um,
happens. But
Nothing else. But yeah, my tolerance for horror is really genre dependent of the horror. So like Train to Busan zombie movie,
Oh yeah, yeah.
favorite of mine.
That's also Korean, right?
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
it's good.
It's very good in my opinion. But then you get into like The Exorcist, and I'm gonna bow out.
Supernatural stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
take it. I can't take Paranormal Activity, any of that. I just can't take
Yeah.
any of that
I
stuff.
totally understand that. That's the stuff that gets me too.
Yep, can't handle it.
Yeah.
Yep. So anyway,
Okay. So awards notes. Mentioned the Oscars a lot in this. It won Best Picture. It also won Best Director, as well as Best Original Screenplay and Best International Feature. Kind of funny that it like won Best International Feature and Best Picture. Like it's just like this is the best in the world. Like
this is the best movie in the world
yeah.
of 19.
And those are notable, like to win original screenplay and director for Bong Joon Ho, as well as picture. Like that is a pretty like rounded, like because a lot of times what you get is if the Academy is split, often like kind of like you might have a best director that is different from what wins the best picture, or the screenplay is almost like a nod to like, oh, this is the cool movie. Like I should actually even look up. Like I want to say like Pulp Fiction, I think, like wins best screenplay. Yeah, it wins best original screenplay, but like Forrest Gump is the thing that wins best picture that
Best
in
picture.
1994.
Sure.
So it was also the Palme d'Or winner at Cannes. And
Wow.
I remember too, kind of the
Academy.
thing that people were starting to be like, oh, is like Parasite gonna go? Like, is it gonna go for the throne? Was that at the SAG Awards? That's the Screen Actors Guild, so that's only actors like voting on in that award. It won Outstanding Performance by a Cast in a Motion Picture, which is kind of like their ensemble cast category, and that was the first non-English language film to ever win that category at the SAG Awards.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So
So
very
I
well
wanted to. I brought up earlier
awarded.
that like after this, there's a turning point in the Academy that more international stuff is being recognized, and I just wrote out like what has been like nominated for specifically Best Picture since then. So in 2020, the year after this, you have Minari, which is actually in English. It's a movie in English. I believe it's an American production, but there's a lot of Korean language in it. It is about a Korean family in America. But then in 2021, you do have Drive My Car, which is by Ryosuke Hamaguchi. It's Japanese.
Oh, it's with what's his name from Walking Dead, Steven.
Steven Yeun's in
Steve
Minari.
Young.
Steven Yeun's in
Right.
Minari. He's not in Drive My Car. Drive My Car is all like
Oh,
Japanese
sorry.
actors, but yeah, Minari is good. I do recommend that one. But okay, so then in 2022, you get two. You have Triangle of Sadness, which has now been brought up twice. You also have All Quiet on the Western Front, which was German. 2023, you had another two. You had Anatomy of a Fall, which was French. You had The Zone of Interest, which was also German. And then last year, you had I'm Still Here, which was a Brazilian film. You had Emilia Perez, which was a Spanish language, French produced film. That movie is bad. I do not recommend
10
that
out of
movie,
10 don't watch.
but it was produced by a French director and a French company, and this is mostly in Spanish.
Hilarious.
Then you also had like The Substance, which was it's an English language film, but it's directed by a French director. That's also a genre film. It's a body horror film.
Is that the poster with the back?
Yep. Yes.
No,
Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
you.
It's pretty gnarly. I'm a little bit
Oh.
surprised that was nominated for Best Picture. It is pretty gonzo. But
Quite
yeah.
the
And
quite
then
the Wikipedia. Quite the Wikipedia.
oh yeah,
Quite
it's
the Wikipedia read.
really goes
And
places.
the Mrs. Featherbottom voice. Quite the
And when I think of
Wikipedia read.
when I think of like Academy voters, like in the old sense, like a bunch of old people, like going to some screening in LA and watching The Substance and being like, I loved that. Like it doesn't quite sit
That
with
was a
my mind.
good movie.
Yeah. But then you also had Dune Part 2, which was one of the first movies made on Arrakis. So there's all kinds of foreign stuff
It's
happening.
very inclusive.
I thought. Did you say that was the first movie made on Arrakis?
Made on
Yes.
Arrakis, yeah.
That's what I thought you said. I was like, I believe it was the second movie made on Arrakis.
Yes, it was. They were the first movies made on Arrakis, Dune
we
Part
go.
1 and 2. I wanted
Which
to make that little
should
joke.
only get more screen time as the so successful. So
Yeah.
great on location spacing. So
Right?
that's
Okay.
good. Well, I love that. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
As always, you've shed much light for me in just understanding more about how the Academy works, and even like thinking through what it takes to win something.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times, I think it's very simplistic for a viewer. We get in a Rotten Tomatoes view. Like, was it good? I don't know. I like the popcorn eating ability that I had while watching this. But as we dissected it, it was beyond just the like. Because I think the average viewer, if they watched it in the theater, they walk away with, "Do you remember the pivot of the film?" And what we've done is you've peeled back the onion of like, yes, there is that pivot, but let's talk about so much more. And
Yeah,
so
there's more to it.
the ones that win have those onion layers often, and the ones that are really
They should.
good have a lot of onion layers to it.
Yeah.
So it's good. I love it.
They're worthy of being celebrated as a work of art and not something that a kid drew because he saw a ghost. Yeah.
True art is poop shooting out of a toilet. That's what we've learned tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring out too. I feel like I did this recently, talking about. I think I've talked about 2007 movies. I think we've done 3 of them so far, and I love that year. But 2019 was no slump of a year either. And this is like kind of the stuff that Parasite was up against, and some of these are really good movies as well. So 2019, 6 years ago now, which is crazy. Also had Midsommar, which is my favorite Ari
Oh,
Aster movie.
also never gonna watch that.
Too
Yeah,
too
if you don't
spooky
like
for
horror,
me.
you might not like that. Knives Out, Ryan
Oh,
Johnson's murder mystery.
I did watch that.
Little Women, Greta Gerwig's very
Yeah.
clever adaptation.
I did watch that too.
I actually stumped for that movie. Yeah. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, I'll
Which-
stump for that.
Tarantino?
I'll
Which
stump for that.
I
movie.
had not seen Parasite, and I was the guy furious at my TV when Tarantino didn't finally get a Best Director
Yeah, right.
win.
Oh.
I was
It's a good movie.
livid.
Yeah. I mean,
I
it's-
understand now why it lost, though. This
Yeah,
was an
you get it,
incredible
but it's
movie.
like, yeah, it's just that thing of
Like, how
you
did he
know.
lose?
well, it's just like Scottie Pippen versus Jordan. It's just like
yeah,
you have S, and then you have S tier, and then you have S plus tier.
yeah,
You had Avengers Endgame, a little movie called Avengers Endgame.
A little.
yeah.
You had the Lighthouse, which is, I don't know if it's my favorite Robert Eggers, but it's a movie I love, and that's another movie that I think about a lot.
That's a 2019 movie.
Yep, that's a 2019
I
movie.
didn't realize that.
Yeah,
Wait, that's not from 1879?
no, neither
It's in
is.
black and
That
white.
was also
Yeah, I
shot
know.
on
Yeah, it was in black
location.
and white.
Yeah, right. It's shot on like a.
was
It's
shot-
literally shot on in like a square format. Like it's like shot with like the oldest camera possible.
He was holding his fingers over the camera,
Yeah, he was
I
just
believe.
covering it.
They had to crank it.
1917, not
Oh.
filmed in 1917, but that's like another that's a technical
That was
achievement movie. That movie's
2019?
crazy. Yep. So that was
Wait,
that was
not
one of the movies that
1917?
was
Contrary to
1917
popular belief.
parentheses 2019. Uncut
2019,
Gems.
13. Oh yeah.
Uncut Gems, Portrait of a Lady on Fire, Marriage Story, Sound of Metal. I think that one is
Oh.
underrated. I really like Sound of Metal. That is a
I
that is
watched
a movie
Marriage
that will
Story.
move your heart.
Yeah.
Booksmart.
Good
You got The Irishman. You got Ford versus Ferrari for the dads out there.
All the
So yeah,
dads.
it's a good movie year, and I think still Parasite sits above them all.
Well, and that only speaks to how highly this movie did. Because if it's a trash year and you win, it's good that you won. But if you're the best of the best amongst garbage, then whatever. But if you're the best of the best amongst really good movies, come on now.
Yeah,
And not
For
just
sure.
winning one, winning multiple awards.
yeah, winning multiple awards. I don't know what else. I guess I didn't look if what else it might have been nominated for, but I believe it did win all of those that I'd mentioned earlier, which is
And
crazy.
in a twist of irony, all subtitle movies are now parasitically attached to Parasite.
Boom.
Look at that.
The
You
layers.
didn't. You didn't mention Joker, Chris.
I did not mention Joker.
Joker
Joker is
2019?
also 2019, which is also like a big deal. I
never
That's a
watched
big
it.
deal.
I'm a
Did
little
you
lower on
really
it.
Never. Wow.
I've seen every other movie on this Best Picture list, including Jojo Rabbit and.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
Jojo Rabbit. Yes.
What?
But I
Jojo
never
Rabbit
saw.
was
I
19?
never saw Joker.
Jojo Rabbit's great. I love Jojo Rabbit. Wow. Well, very good.
Two popes.
Two popes.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a
what
great-
if there
great
what if
movie.
there were two popes? That's
What if
the
there were
idea
two
of that
popes?
story.
That is the
You always only had one pope. What if there was a second?
what if
What
there
else
was
did you
two? Well, Teach, is there any other last parting wisdoms?
I don't think so. We've been yapping
right.
for
We've been
like
yapping.
an hour 42 here.
It's good. I mean, it was worth yapping about. The film
Yeah, this
itself
is a movie.
contained most of the content there, so it was well worth it. Well, thank you all for listening. We loved this movie. We love this movie. So if you have not seen it, we've spoiled most of it for you. Go watch it anyway. But if you have seen it, maybe it's time you do a little rewatch now and dig up things that we missed and look at those layers for yourself. But regardless, we'll be back next month with another fun film for you.
Yes, which will be The Thing.
Oh,
it's gonna be Halloween season soon here. So I actually haven't talked to you about this, Zach, but it'd be cool if we could put that out like on the 15th so that people have time to watch it in time for Halloween season. But if we just
I
put it out on
I
November
do
1st, look right
know.
there.
I know I know the I know the scheduling person. So
Oh, you know who takes care of that? Is
I
it you?
do. It is me. It's me.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm on it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you
Yeah.
are.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Shout out to Chris Roundhill for making me watch this movie. How long ago? 15
Oh
years ago.
gosh.
You talking about The Thing?
The Thing, yeah.
Yeah. You
So
would have
I don't
watched it
have
in
to watch it
2011?
now. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to watch it
Oh, I'm
14 years
excited.
later.
I'm very
I'm
excited to
excited to
watch The
rewatch
Thing.
it. It's so good.
I've never seen it. So I've seen a lot of these movies that I'm helping, Chris
Oh,
tag along
sure.
with, but this is one I have not seen. And I did sign up for it because while I don't like horror, this falls in that category of sci-fi horror for me, where it's like I know there's going to be body horror, that's what it's known for, but it's also a classic 80s movie. I'm a sucker for 80s movies.
Oh, yeah.
Grew up on that with my dad. Like this is hitting that zone of like this is probably gonna be gross, but the right kind of gross, like alien gross.
It
So
is.
I'm
And
on
it's
board. I'm on board for it.
like a bunch of just cool dudes. I mean, it's like Kurt Russell in his prime. Like,
It's just
it's
it's
cool
just
dudes in
the
it.
predator handshake in a movie.
Kurt
I mean,
Russell is so cool in this movie.
yeah. He wears
Kurt
the toughest
Russell.
jackets. Yeah.
All right.
So, all
Well,
right.
we'll come back. We'll give you The Thing, and we hope you enjoyed this discussion of foreign film Parasite. We'll see you next time.
Do 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 do